Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon, Redham House teachers, students, and a special welcome to the proud parents that have joined us here today. Firstly, I would like to congratulate the Students' Executive and their families for the appointments that you are receiving today. The leadership position that you have been selected for is one of service. To quote Jack Welch, "Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others." May I applaud you for your desire to serve your school and your community. I would like to ask Mr. Hazley to join me on stage as I call up the Executive Council for 2021. Please can I ask that you hold your applause until the end of a section. Matthew Adamson. Britt Alberts. Matthew Carr. Matt Chaplin. Jay Chu. Dylan Clark. Murray Copeland. Sky Dix. Tristan Franco. Aaron Fife. Please all the parents of these learners step forward and pin the exec badge onto your child's blazer to symbolize the supportive role that you will be playing. You may give them a round of applause. may take your seats. Fabio Gavea. Tyler Groenewald. Michaela Herbert. Olwetu Hlachwayo. Zamagwane Hlachwayo. Joel Call. Tanika Kishov. Jody Langston. Shannon Makura. Kuchle Konke Mkize. Please will the parents of these learners step forward and pin the exec badge onto your child's blazer to symbolize the supportive role you'll be playing. You can take your seats. Hannibal Monakale. Kudakwashi Muti. Michelle Pinero. Kai Prust. Kira Scott. Claudia Sommer. Adrian Stark. Jade Simons. Alex van Rooyen. Jade Wainwright. Please will the parents of these learners step forward and pin the exec badge onto your child's blazer.
Today, as you walk across the stage, you signed a pledge, a promise of how you will strive to serve the school. Please stand and face the school. This is the pledge. I assume the responsible office of Student Council, Executive Council member. I pledge to honor Redham House, to be loyal to my school, to uphold its traditions, and to contribute positively towards the enrichment of the school. I will endeavour in the course of my duties to do my best to place service above self, to act fairly without bias or favouritism, to be fearless in the face of opposition or unpopularity, as I strive for what is upright and just. I acknowledge my responsibility to uphold the image of the school by my conduct, both within the school and in the public eye, and in doing so to maintain the honour of Redham House College. Will you uphold this to the best of your ability? Yes. Thank you. You may be seated. Matthew, one of our judiciary members, will now deliver an address to the new executive body on behalf of the Judiciary of 2020.
Okay. It is rather surreal to be standing before you to address the new Redham House executives, when it feels as if 2020 has hardly had the chance to get out of the starting blocks. However, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Hazley, Mr. and Mrs. Quayle, teachers, parents, the 2020 executives, and the incoming executives for 2021 to this auspicious occasion. Today marks the time for me and the other members of the executive body to hand over the baton to the new leaders of Redham House Bedfordview and to wish them well for the year that lies ahead. Despite the unprecedented year that 2020 has been, I would like to think that Redham House has continued to thrive under the leadership and examples that has been set by the executives this year. Our time at Redham may be over, but we will always be the lockdown leaders who took every opportunity to learn from our teachers, coaches, the school management, and from one another. From day one of grade 8 orientation, we set the tone for this year. We were going to stick together, no matter what. We were going to face conflicts and overcome them, no matter what. We were going to squeeze as much fun into as short a period of time, no matter what. To the incoming executive body, if you're going to be successful and leave a lasting legacy, you will have to do it together, no matter what. Serving the Redham House community as a member of the judiciary has been an honor and a role that I'll forever cherish. It has been an experience of a lifetime to work with such amazing people. Jen, your sense of fun and vibrant personality has kept us laughing throughout the year and reminded us that nothing in life is so serious. Kellen, your ability to maintain relationships with a multitude of personalities at Redham proved invaluable to keeping us grounded to the needs of Redham students. And Kim, you are our Uber organizer who led with kindness and compassion no matter what circumstances we found ourselves in. Helen Keller said, "Alone, we can do so little. Together, we can do so much." Thank you for being an amazing judiciary who are able to lead the school through one of the toughest times in recent memory. And to the execs, each and every one of you has been outstanding and a dream to work with. Thank you. My personal goals for 2020 were to lead with integrity, to introduce humor into the executive and judiciary bodies, and to be a source of unification. Well, let's just say that COVID-19 threw me quite a curveball, and all of a sudden, my main goal every day was to be up in time in order to make it to my early Afrikaans Zoom lesson. To all the people whose cameras and microphones weren't working, I hope you enjoyed your sleep in. But jokes aside, to the 2021 executive body, decide who you are and what your contribution will be next year. Set your goals high and do everything in your power to achieve those goals. Make yourselves and Redham proud. 2020 should have come with a warning label. COVID-19 disrupted every aspect of daily lives for all across the globe. Our norm was no longer normal. Heated discussions over various issues took place via Zoom meetings, and as a matric group, we were challenged to find solutions. We had to learn to communicate despite being isolated from each other. For me personally, the greatest lesson I learned this year is that any conflict can be resolved if we are prepared to communicate. Oscar Wilde famously said, "The bond of all companionship is conversation." To all future Redham students and students here present, my wish for you is to remember that our strength lies in our diversity, and all conflicts can and must be resolved through effective and constructive communication. To the 2021 executives, I did not understand how privileged I was to attend Redham House Bedford View until my days walking the corridors were over. Redham creates independent thinkers, encourages compassion, and prepares students for all walks of life. My wish for you is to lead our wonderful school with the integrity it deserves. Henry Ford said, "Coming together is the beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success." 2021 executives, we are expecting great things from you. Good luck with next year and enjoy every moment.
Thank you, Matt. I've done this so many years, and I always get nervous with this. It's such a sad time, nearly. I think many of the kids sitting here and some of the juniors, you have this impression that the year comes and goes, and every year we just ramble along and we never really connect emotionally. And I think this is the time where I always, by now we would have had the valedictory, and everybody's tears would be bubbling under. But this year again, it's been a year, I think Matt said, conflict. There's been a lot of conflict. There's been a lot of heated discussion, and I'm talking particularly about to the grade 12s and the execs. It's a year that started off in an amazing manner, and then life happened. And I think I'd like to have a moment of gratitude to just say that if we never had COVID, a lot of the experiences and the growth that many of you in grade 12 and the execs, many of you would never have had that. You would have just moseyed on and maybe, who knows, turned 40, had a meltdown, and then only learned something and possibly changed the way you're going. And I think COVID has actually provided you with an opportunity to really dig deep. So to the execs, I just want to really say thank you very much. You were at the forefront of bringing awareness to the importance and the value of not just valuing diversity, but the value of inclusivity. And I'm hoping that the grade 11 sitting here, the exec body for next year, that you will also embrace inclusivity and take that to new levels. I just also want to say thank you to Matt. Again, I always say there's 4 different kids standing up here. They're not exactly the same. And you'll see again when we announce the judiciary this year, that again, they're completely different. And I think Kimberly, very much really the compassion. Kimberly is very much about let's do it right. Always aim high and care deeply about what you believe in. Very principled young lady, and all the stuff that we were going through, always researching, looking, trying very hard to understand where things and people are coming from. Then Genevieve, really the bubbly one. I think Genevieve has had to learn that every now and then your bubble will be popped. It's great, always trying to see everybody's side, but sometimes it's very difficult and you can't please everybody all of the time, but thank you for trying. And then we have Kellen. Kellen is the thinker. I think I would like be rolling on, and the minute I approach Kellen, it's like, let's stop, let's think. And really, as I think Matt said, grounded, really thank you. I think Kellen, very much the philosophical one. You know, my humanity is bound up in yours. We can only be human together. Let's think. And Kellen also, thank you for doing that, and thank you for kicking over into action every now and then. I know it was difficult, but you care so much about people. And then Matt, thank you for strength through action. I think Matt is, the best thing you can do is the right thing. The next best thing you can do is the wrong thing. And the worst thing you can do is nothing. And Matt often had to just step in, make the decision. So a tough place to be in, but thank you. So thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting and bringing your individuality. And then I'd just like to just have a message to the execs. Again, I think it was a really, really difficult year. And I think everybody says that. And for me, I am trying hard not to say those same cliche things, because I think for everybody, every year brings about some kind of difficulty. And going forward, I'd like to leave a message of the power of now, the power of the present moment. COVID crept into our lives very nicely in every little crevice and steadily made us feel like everything was out of control. The matric dance, the valedictory, your final day, it was just horrendous. And everything's out of control. And I think a lot of the grade 12s and the execs are sitting here going, I just want 2021 to come. It's that living in the future, that anticipation of the future. And my question is, that's enormous pressure on 2021. What about the last 3 months we have left? There's still a large portion of this year left, of your life. That kind of thinking, wishing away, is really something that changes you to anxiety and suffering. And it might feel good for a moment to daydream about the future. That is why people do it. We must have goals of the future, but we want to remove ourselves. And that kind of pattern really doesn't bring about much peace. And peace is something that I hope many of you experience multiple times in your lives. Actually, every day, a moment of peace. So with this yearning for the present, for the future, you actually not addressing your unhappiness about the actual present. And you still will have that fear. You'll still wish that things were different. You'll still have that irritation. So I think what I'd like to say is, what about, COVID is here. This pandemic is here. Whatever situation I have is here. Accept the reality as it is. Because good and bad lie together. You cannot have good without bad. You won't know good without bad. And if you can embrace the reality for what it is, with its good and bad, you will have balance and you will find peace. And in this moment, if we look at this moment, this very taking a breath, releasing, this moment is good. You have come through many years of school. You are sitting here, you are healthy, you have the opportunity of writing your matric exams. That is beautiful. Eckhart Tolle, in his book, The Power of Now, says, the power of now is to realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. So I'd like us to take a breath, deep breath in, release it, and listen to the words of Dave Carroll as he beautifully describes the power of now.
When there's no way out, there's still a way through. So don't give up whatever you do. Surrender to moments and things as they are, from the gaps in your catch-22s. When there's no way out, there's still a way through. 'Cause now's all there is, so peaceful and still. And now you don't worry about what's happened or what will. 'Cause now never ends, and now's never been. And all of your answers are waiting for you here. When your world stands tough and weighing you down, and you've had enough of this merry-go-round, and your resistance to walls you won't move, and running through old deja vus. When there's no way out, there's still a way through. 'Cause now's all there is, so peaceful and still. And now you don't worry about what's happened or what will. 'Cause now never ends, and now's never been. And all of your answers are waiting for you here now. When
I wish you well in your coming exams. When you're feeling frustrated, when you feel like your house of cards is fragile, I want you to find a moment to pause, breathe, make the now, the present moment, your cornerstone. And from there, make the correct decisions so that the impact you are having on your life and every single person you come in contact with will be meaningful. Own your impact, grade 12s, and thank you. Right, and that brings us to the announcing of the judiciary for 2021. So if Mr. Hazley wants to just come up, you'll just have to, they're all there. Just have the first one. So the nominees for the female judiciary were Sky Dix, Erin Fife, Hannibal Monakale, and Jade Simmons. You can give them a round of applause. But unfortunately, we can only have 2. So our first young lady is Sky Dix. And the second young lady is Erin Fife. Nerves and sweaty palms. Right, the nominees for the male students were Matthew Carr, Fabio Gouveia, Joel Carl, and Adrian Stark. The male judiciary member, the first one is Matthew Carr. And our second male judiciary member is Joel Carl. Right, thank you, and I'll hand over to Mr. Hazley for the leadership address.
Sorry, I've never had to unchange to do a speech. Welcome to parents. If Mr. Johnson can just get that slide show up and going. Welcome to the exec induction. Big thank you to Mrs. Alberts, because even under the masks and the gloves, just to make a day special for the guys, a bit of normality back to 2020. Congratulations to all the execs. Congratulations to all the grade 11s. I want to talk to you, first of all, there was a guy called Simon Synod, and he said there are leaders, and then there are people who lead. Okay, so I want to share a couple of thoughts about what leadership is, and I want all the grade 11 group to listen carefully, because it's you guys who are going to be leading our school next year. All right, the current leaders, they had a really difficult time leading a school online, but they did a good job. And you guys have got different challenges coming your way next year. So, my favorite movie of all time, The Lion King. All right, not last year's one, the original, the one with the comedy, the funniness, the lessons in life. And in that movie, there's a whole bunch standing up, getting into a place where you're taking leadership. And so there's a couple of things we can learn from that movie. So the first thing is that leadership is not about a position. You can have the position and not be a good leader. There's lots of examples of that. And you don't have to have the position and still be a good leader. So leadership is not a position. Scar was a brilliant example. He wanted the position. He wanted it for himself. He wasn't a servant leader. He wanted it because he wanted to have the power. But he was an awful leader, and the kingdom collapsed, almost collapsed, until a true leader came into play. Next one. A leader needs to be proactive. All right? You can't just wait for life to come to you. You need to be proactive. Okay? And you need to care about the people around you. Lions are really good and very protective of their cubs, but it's also been known for lions to look after calves and antelopes. And so lions are really, really caring people, and you need to be protective of those people. So people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. So you need to be protective of the people you're leading. Really, really important. And you can't just wait and say, oh, well, someone else will look after them. You need to be proactive in your protection. Next thing, a leader needs to be brave. Lions always hold their head up tall, and they're always ready for anything that comes along their way. And as a leader, you need to be brave. You need to make decisions sometimes that aren't popular, decisions that may even lose friends around you. But you've got to be brave to do the right thing at the right time. You've got to stand up for what's right all the time. That's what a good leader does. Next thing, a good leader needs to know themselves. I don't know if you remember whenever Mufasa took Simba to the side and said, Simba, remember who you are. All right? And that's really important. The values that your parents have put in you, those values are who you are. No matter where you lead, if it's going to be at school, if it's going to be in matric next year, if it's going to be in business one day, if it's going to be our country one day, you need to make sure that you know yourself, you know your values, and you stick to those values. Right. The next one. A good leader develops others. A good leader does not develop good followers. A good leader develops good leaders. You need to inspire them to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. That's when you know your job is done. In fact, whenever you're not around and everything works, you know you're a good leader. The next one is a good leader needs to be willing to fight for what's right, for injustice. You know, whenever Simba went into the elephant graveyard, do you remember that scene? And it went dark and the hyenas came and he was scared. And then they said, Mufasa. And then Mufasa came and took out the hyenas and he said to Simba, Simba said to him, but Dad, you're so brave. I'm never going to be brave. And Mufasa said to him, being brave doesn't mean you go looking for trouble. But you have to stand up. You have to stand up for things in life. There's too many, again, if I take politics, there's too many people that aren't standing up for the right thing. And we've got a bunch of leaders in this room here who need to stand up and be counted as a leader and be brave. The next thing is, to be a leader, you need to be part of the pride. As a leader, you're not above the pride. All right? As a leader, you're part of the pride. You're part of the family. And again, Mufasa says, respect all the creatures, from the crawling ants to the leaping antelopes. If you look after the people in your care, you look after the people that you're leading, they will feel safe, they will feel respected, they will know that they matter, they will trust you, and they will follow you. That's the end of the day. That's the simplest form of leadership, is just making sure that they know that you are part of the family and that you care. Last slide, and this is one of my favorite quotes from Alexander the Great, a great tactician, a great general. And he said, an army of sheep led by a lion is better than an army of lions led by a sheep. And for next year, my hope is that this entire group of grade 12s and the exec body and the new judiciary, that you guys lead like lions. And if you're all leading like lions, I can tell you that you will have many, many, many followers. And I wish you all the best for next year. I wish you all the best taking over the leadership of the school. It's not going to be easy, but if you can remember those few little steps, those 7 points of what a good leader is, I think it'll stand you well whenever times get tough next year. And that leads us to the end of our assembly. This is the first time we've ever live streamed an assembly where we've had a bit of an audience, spatially distanced, masked, and so forth. But thank you very much to Mrs. Alberts and Mrs. Cullinan for organizing all of it. And we just want to, again, just congratulate all the execs and the judiciary. If I can just start, please give them a round of applause. if I can ask the grade 11s, not the execs, so the grade 11s, if you guys could stand up at the back, and if you guys can make your way to class. And then what we're going to do now, if I can ask all the new exec, if you guys can just meet outside. Mr. Quayle is going to be taking a photograph from the top, but this is the instructions for socially distanced photographs. Everybody will have their mask on, and you'll be socially distanced. I will count down. 1, 2, 3. Then hold your breath, pull your mask down, and smile. Okay. All right. Then you put your mask back up, and you step away from each other again. Okay, then moms and dads, you can take a couple of photographs outside, and then we would like you to join us in the canteen just for a bit of socially distanced food. You will see there's plastic over the food. You'll just take a plate, and there's tea and there's coffee, just to spend a bit of time with your children. And but please do keep your masks on the whole time, and just there'll be sanitizing liquid and all the rest of it there as well. Right, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Execs, you can go outside and take your photograph.